Heyo! Time for another tier list. This time is for our favorite fire-spewing robot, Arsonist. Like last time, the rules are the same. Placement is based off of both personal experience and general use. Weapons are not ordered in their tier. Multi-class weapons will be shown on all classes that use it, and the 5 ratings are the same. Let's not waste any more time and get started. Flamethrower. When it comes to Arsonist, there are a lot of people that always pull out the W plus M1 complaint, when in reality that's really just how the weapon works. Unlike something like a shotgun, flamethrowers have a fixed range, and if someone is outside that range, then they would need to walk towards them to start dealing damage to them, which is a lot more effective than it seems. That's not even mentioning Afterburn, which can last up to 8 seconds. So even if you kill the Arsonist, unless you have a way to extinguish yourself or are near a health pack, you're screwed. On the topic of air blast, sure, the knockback can be annoying at times, especially considering that they buffed it again. Why did you do this? At the same time, it's not really that big of an issue if you just, I don't know, stop shooting rockets and pipes at the Arsonist! Or, at the very least, change up your shooting pattern to throw off their timing, if you don't have anything that's hit scan. I prefer to use it more to extinguish teammates because there are way too many people that don't know they can do that. Even with the new icons that show up over people on fire, which is quite nice. Anyways, it's a pretty good weapon both offensively and defensively, and like all other stock weapons so far, it's going in excellent. Degreaser. Is it just me, or does it feel like this does more damage than stock, despite having a much weaker afterburn? Anyways, this is the combo primary, and it's really good at doing so both with your secondary and melee of choice, depending on what you're running. The increased ammo to air blast is a minor inconvenience at best, and it's just pretty flexible for your loadout, so it'll also go in excellent. Interceptor. This is TC2's backburn with some neat changes stat-wise. Instead of using up a quarter of your ammo just to air blast once, you just deal less damage, which is not really that noticeable, especially when you get those crits off. In most cases, I'm just gonna be attacking from the front unless I get bored and want to flank. Not something I use over stock, so it'll go in great. Blogistinator. When it comes to translation from TF2, they gave the Flog a whole new set of stuff. Normally in TF2 you can't air blast, and you need to deal fire damage to build up your crit meter. Here in TC2, you can air blast, but instead of reflecting projectiles, it destroys them. And it can't be used on teammates. You can also deal any kind of damage to build up the crit meter, so I usually run a shotgun whenever I use this. All that at the cost of no afterburn, which is honestly a stat that the TF2 Flog should have had. Also, you aren't ubered when taunting, but that's not really an issue. This is quite a nice change, taking familiar stuff and adding new stuff on top. Only thing that's missing is probably some kind of sound effect that can be heard when taunting with a full charge to indicate an incoming street cleaner. It's excellent. Huang Long's Wrath. Apologies if I mispronounced that, but this is TC2's Dragon's Fury, but they kinda butchered it here. Just from comparing the fireball shot out, it's like a little pea compared to the big boy the dragon fires. Also, they swapped the damage numbers for it. It still does 25 damage on non-burning enemies and triple that if they are, but in TF2 the base damage is 75, which makes it surprisingly good at destroying buildings. In TC2 they set that to 25, so it does jack to buildings. At least the design looks cool, and it can still do good damage to single targets, so it'll go in good.
Shotgun!
The shotgun works well as both a good combo tool and as a standalone weapon for Arsonists, especially when it comes to dealing with other Arsons since they're immune to afterburn. Not much else to say that hasn't been said already, so it's going in excellent. Bullet Stormer. The Bullet Stormer doesn't quite work as well as stock because of the slower firing speed, and also, you have a flamethrower. But it's still able to pack a punch, so it'll go in good. Frankenstein. Why would you even use this on Arsonist outside of contract? It forces you to wait before dealing any damage, and also, you have a flamethrower. I guess it could work as an initializer before switching to your flamethrower, but even then it's not really something too reliable, so it's going in okay. Death Blow. You basically have the degreaser in the secondary slot, so you can use the other flamethrowers to switch back and forth between them for quick burst damage. I personally like pairing this with the Flaw because it's just really good using it as a primary weapon. Excellent. Family Business. I tend to find this a bit unreliable for Arsonist because of its lower damage, and again, you have a flamethrower! Even as a shotgun option, you have way better ones than this. But you do at least get damage out a bit quicker, so it'll go in good. Flare Gun. This is essentially the skill shot weapon, rewarding you with a crit and the funny ragdoll if you can nail it. It's also pretty good at just poking from a distance or hitting something just outside of your flamethrower's range. It's excellent. Detonator. Before the blast radius nerf, I mainly used it with the Wrath to essentially act as a diet scorch shot, making it so the first shot of the Wrath does the full damage. It's also nice for getting around quickly or just cutting someone off from fleeing towards a health pack. It's great. Fire Extinguisher. At first I found it strange that it can extinguish teammates, but I saw that it removes other debuffs like Lemonade, Milk, and Bleed, and I thought that was quite nice. But then I saw that the Grill Scout does the exact same thing, but better because it's on a faster class. So you'd really only keep using this if you're running a Flog if you still want to extinguish teammates. This is probably one of the worst stock weapons in general, but not by much, so it'll go in good. Escapist Escapade. This is one half of the Power Jack, and the main one that Pyros and Arsons tend to use for it anyways. You'll understand what I mean by that later on. The amount of times I've just walked up to someone and just whacked them to death with this sign is much more than it should be. It's really useful for getting around or just coming out of spawn. It's excellent. Homewrecker. There are two kinds of people when it comes to opinions on the Homewrecker. One side doesn't have any issue with it because they like being a Pybro, or in this case, an Arbronist, as the wiki puts it. Though I personally prefer Arsistant, which is the side I reside on because it's nice just being able to remove a sapper off our teleporter as soon as I come back into spawn. Flanker actually used to be able to do this as well with the Handyman before it became a reskin for the wooden sword. The other side are the spy mains that get pissy because of it. And to that, I say, y'all don't have any right to complain with the BS y'all always run. It also can two-shot all buildings, which makes sense because it's a sledgehammer, but not something really used often for that purpose. So it'll go in great. Improvised Innovator. This is TC2's back scratcher, and it pretty much functions the same, just without random crits, so the 3 people that play medieval mode don't have to worry about it. I honestly find this frustrating. Not on the side of using it, but more so having to deal with teammates that use it, as a doctor. They always try to go to me for healing when they fail to realize that I can barely heal them in the first place because of that stupid axe. A small health pack heals about half, so just get one of those instead of whining at me for not wasting my time on you. Outside of that, it's pretty good when you're off doing something solo, so it'll go good. Mending Mallet. This is the other half of the Power Jack, but the healing you get from it is actually useful since you get half your health back, which can overheal. The slower swing speed only really plays an issue if you miss, but aside from that, it's a pretty good thing to run if you just want to survive a bit better on your own. It's great. 1000 Degree Axe. This is TC2's axe extinguisher, but somehow more annoying than it. I don't know if it's because of the hitbox jank in TC2 or what. Though I do find it funny when they accidentally kill themselves because they also gave it the same hurt yourself on miss penalty as the Basher and Equalizer, with the added extra of it extinguishing all teammates they set on fire. I have no clue how this logically makes any sense whatsoever. Like, they can be a far distance away and the fire just magically goes out. Does hitting yourself just release a powerful gust of wind that specifically targets people on fire? I don't know. But it's pretty reliable for comboing with the degreaser, so it's going in great. And that's all of them. Arsonist doesn't have a lot of stuff compared to the previous two I've talked about, but they're able to make good work with what they have and it shows. Let me know what you think of Arsonist weapons in the comments below. With that, thanks for watching. Like if you enjoyed it and subscribe to keep up with future uploads. See ya!